Luke chapter 9 and verse 23. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Now, let me ask you a question. Did this say, if any man wants to be saved and go to heaven, then they have to come after me, deny himself, take up his cross and follow me? Is that what it says? No, it's just that it says, if any man will come after me. Okay? Meaning this, if you're going to follow him, it's not just in word only, right? If you're going to follow him, then you have to deny yourself, take up his cross and follow him, right? You know, the idea, if you're going to follow me, if you're going to come after me, then you have to deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. This is not talking about salvation. This is talking about being a disciple. And if you're going to be his disciple, you got to deny yourself, take up your cross. And notice that it says daily. There's another place where Paul says, I die daily. So that means, and you say, well, what does it mean to die daily? Is he like literally killing himself? I mean, that's the way people read the Bible sometimes. But if you said, I'm going to deny myself daily, that does make sense, doesn't it? So if you deny yourself daily and you take up his cross daily, that's when you're his disciple. Now, are there days where we're not denying ourselves and we're not taking up his cross? Of course. But the principle is that we need to be on a daily basis doing that. On a daily basis, we need to put off the old man and put on the new. Deny ourselves, take up his cross on the daily, right? And that is something that we are striving to do. And notice what it says here in verse 24. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man advantaged if he gain the whole world and lose himself and be cast away? And it says, for whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory and in his Father's and of the holy angels. So this passage is usually when it says, you know, what does the profit of man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? So a lot of people think, well, you lose your soul, you're going to hell, right? But what we're talking about here, when it talks about soul, sometimes it's just talking about yourself, right? You know, the soul that sinneth, it shall die, or you shall save a soul from death, or there is, you know, this many souls perished on this you know, ship that sank over here. You know, sometimes it's just talking about the persons, right, or the people, or in this case, yourself, right? So he's basically saying, what would it profit if you gain the whole world and lose yourself, or be cast away? Just like Paul states that I keep, you know, I keep under my body and I bring it into subjection, lest by any means, if I preach unto others, I myself should be a castaway, right? And what's that talking about? He has to deny himself, right? What does it mean by keeping under your body? It means denying the flesh, right? Walk in the Spirit and you shall not fulfill the lust thereof. And we need to deny our flesh on a daily basis. It's a daily thing you got to do. You're not just going to deny your flesh one day and then you're just like good for the rest of your life. No, it's a daily thing that you have to do. You daily have to say, I'm picking up the cross. And there's going to be days where you don't. And it's just facts. And you got to deal with it, okay? And if one day you don't deny yourself and you don't pick up your cross, you don't just give up. No, the next day, you know what you do? You deny yourself and you pick up that cross. And each day, you have to make that choice. And it says that we don't want to be, that Jesus will be ashamed of us. If we're ashamed of him and his words, you know, in this wicked and adulterous generation, the Bible says that Jesus will be ashamed of us when he comes in his glory. Now, are we still saved? Of course. It says, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we shall have confidence and not be ashamed at his coming. Right? So we want to abide in him so that we're not ashamed at his coming, because we're going to be ashamed if he's ashamed of us. Okay? Because you want to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You don't want him to say, I'm ashamed of what you did and how you didn't live for me and didn't do what you're supposed to be doing. But look at the parallel passage, because you'll see what is it talking about when he comes in his glory. He's going to be ashamed of us, or we're going to be ashamed. In some cases, it talks about. is because we weren't abiding in him. We weren't fruitful. We weren't abiding in the vine. We weren't walking in him. We weren't denying ourselves and taking up our cross daily. But what's the point? Why do we do that, right? What's the end game for doing this? Well, in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 24, it says, "Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." So same concept here, right? In verse 25, it says, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. And what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works." There's the end game, right? Why would we deny ourselves on a daily basis? Why would we take up our cross on a daily basis? So that we're not ashamed before him at his coming, but ultimately we're going to be ashamed because when we don't have the rewards, when you're standing there suffering loss at the judgment seat of Christ because you didn't do what you should be doing. Okay? And notice, and you don't have to turn there, but in Revelation chapter 22 and verse 12 it says, "And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be." Think about it. The judgment seat of Christ, I believe, happens right before the 1,000-year reign. But the moment that Jesus comes in the clouds and we're gathered together with him, we are resurrected. And the Bible talks about having better resurrections. So at the moment that we see him as he is, and we shall be like him, at that moment, you might, if Jesus is ashamed of you, you're not going to have the best resurrection. You're still going to have glory, and you're still going to have a resurrected body, and it's going to be magnificent, but it's just like the stars in heaven. Some stars shine brighter than others. And we're going to shine. Those that turn many to righteousness, meaning those that get people saved, those that are reaping the fruit of righteousness, which is a tree of life, those are going to shine bright for all eternity. Shine brighter than others. And every star shines, okay, so don't get me wrong, okay? But there is a reward to those that serve the Lord.